everybody. It is Tara and Gina here with Parent Kindly. I hope everybody's well. Tonight, I am refreshing. There we go. We are on. Tonight, we're going to talk about blended families and so much of what goes along with that. There's schedules and personalities and just bringing either two families together with kids, or maybe it's just one family, somebody that doesn't have children into a family that does have children. So many different things. So we started the live out with the put me in coach, so that the co-parent, whoever is new can put me in coach, I'm ready. So anyways, that's where we're going to start. What do you think, Gina?
Yeah, we kind of like that theme a lot because we are a team, and if you have a blended family, separate families, divorced parents, grandparents, foster parents, and we're a community, we're a team, and trying to figure out how we work together to, number one, make sure our kids feel like they're taken care of, and that's the important thing. So definitely, I love the theme, and it's all about teamwork.
Yes, I'm looking for this to see that we are on, and so far, oh, there we are. I found us. Okay.
Good.
I wanted to make sure. So, as you guys know, I am married to Chris, and we have a son, Kieran. However, Chris was married before we got together. He was married to Renee. They got married in 2001, and they had a daughter, Ashley. Now, I came on the job at Covington with Chris, so I knew Renee, their whole marriage, and their daughter, Ashley. However, even though we worked at the same department, Chris and I never worked together. So I knew that he had gotten divorced, but I didn't, I never had that, I didn't see him. So he was divorced for a couple years before I ran into him. But so I entered their family. He already had Ashley, and she was 10 when we got together, and she was absolutely a riot, just fun and quirky. She's just so funny. We used to have so much fun doing this back. I mean, gosh, this is 10 years ago, when the iPads back then, they used to have this little video making app on there, and we used to make these dancing videos of ourselves, and then we would video Chris when we had so much fun. There were challenges at first between more so with Chris and his ex-wife, but as time went on, and I stayed out of it, and I'm so glad I did. You always want to take up for your person, but really it had nothing to do with me. So I stayed out of it, and I let Chris and Renee work their things out. So eventually that all kind of leveled out, and we are fortunate enough that we can all work together pretty well. It's not that we don't have our hiccups, and we do have challenges. There's some different parenting philosophies, and we do have our challenges. And schedules, when Ashley was in school, was a big one. That was a big one because, Chris and I work, we're both firemen. We work 24 hours on, 48 off. And then when he became a chief, and Renee's a nurse practitioner, so all of everything that she does also, scheduling was definitely a big deal. And we depended on Ashley a lot. And then she would forget, she might tell one parent, but not the other. So, I have a lot of experience with the co-parenting aspect.
Yep.
Yeah.
And for me, Tara, being a single mom, and just what was important to me is making sure, we did work as a team, and that the kids felt like they were taken care of, and they were smaller, they were in middle school, grade school, and so just making sure they knew what was happening when,
Yes.
and that someone was taking care of it was so important. I think
Yes.
it made them feel safe, which is an important virtue. That safety, security is important for kids to feel. So that's how I kind of looked at it. Um, and
Absolutely. And our situations are same different. Um, with like I always wanted Ashley to feel safe and valued in our home. And
yep,
that was all, because I didn't, since she was not, a lot of people say stepchild, bonus child. And so this is a little side note. People will say they are your child. You should, you know what? If they are your stepchild and you want to refer to them as that, I think that's okay. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. Some people are blessed to have wonderful relationships with their bonus children, their stepchildren. Other people, it might be a little bit more challenging. So either way, it is okay. But for
yep,
me, talking about this, it's just easier to say Ashley or my stepdaughter, just so you know what we're talking about. But since Kieran is my biological child, I want to celebrate him, but I didn't want her to think that she wasn't as important.
right, right,
So
right,
that is a definitely a fine line. Kieran shouldn't have to not have or not get because of that, of what the parents did before, but yet we wanted her to feel just as loved too. So
yep.
it's a really difficult dynamic.
Right. And, one of the things they suggest is just allowing that one on one time, because there is competition. It's new personalities, and just scheduling that one on one time with a biological parent and their biological child. And that sometimes, and, it just depends on the situation, scheduling that one on one time with the step parent and the stepchild, just to have some time with them.
Yes.
To get to know their likes, dislikes, and get to build a relationship, really.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of schedules, it would have been so helpful if Chris, Renee, and myself, and now Renee is married also. She's married to a fella named Dan. So Ashley not only has a stepmother, she has a stepdad. If we could have all shared like an Ashley calendar, that would
Yep.
have been like incredible, because it was difficult for her to remember who she had told, what
Yeah.
she had scheduled, and it never failed. you know Chris would have to work, or Renee was scheduled to work, and with jobs like that you can't just not go. So a
Right.
lot of times I would get the call, if I wasn't in the firehouse. Hey, Ashley forgot to tell us, I can't go, Renee's at the hospital, can you blah blah blah. So I subbed in a lot for that stuff, and luckily I was able to do that. But I know there's a lot of families probably that can't, but that shared schedule would have been like
Yep.
phenomenal.
So I speaking of that, I wanted to share with our audience a couple things that I've done to kind of hit on making sure that the kids know that they're taken care of, and then kind of what I did initially and how it evolved, because it kind of addresses a little bit, Tara, of what you talked about in having a combined calendar. So I'm going to share. Um, this is what I did. My chalkboard, I will tell you, is my command center. And this is what I did when my kids were in grade school and middle school. It's just, what was important to me is, we've got it between mom and dad, we've got it, and just letting them know who's got what and when. And this is what I put together, and you can kind of see it's our chalkboard. It hung in our laundry room, and it just, as they went out the door for school, and came in, They knew it hung in our laundry room, and they knew what day, who had what, and what practice, what
Yeah,
math test. Now, it took a lot of work to put this together week to week, but it was so important for me so that they, felt safe that we had kind of their schedule together and we were taking care of it. So this,
absolutely.
yep,
Especially with 4 children, with multiple children. I mean, we only really just had to worry about Ashley, so it wasn't quite as difficult. But you, with multiples, that had to be a lifesaver.
yes. So this was what I did in the beginning, but what I would like to share, let's see if I can bring this. I think I closed it accidentally. Give me just a second. I want to show what it evolved into, and it was a online calendar, and this is out on our blog as well. And I'm going to probably be facing this way so I can see. But what's it called? What it's called is Cozy, and it's free. And it's a online calendar that the blended families, whatever type of family unit you have, you can work together on the schedules. So I'm going to share with you really quick what it looks like. You can see here, you can put in different events and they're color coded. So you can see, my children up here, Emma, Red, Grace, Savannah, Sam, and you enter the events. And the nice thing about this is the kids can enter the events and the kids can enter even their work schedules. There's lots of, if I go back to here, I just want to show this really quick. There's ways to sync your calendars. You can, oops, sorry. You can sync it with your Google Calendar. You can, go back. Sorry. You can sync it with your Google Calendar, Cozy, Pinterest, Facebook, and that type of thing. So there's ways to integrate your other calendars with it. So when you start entering it and the kids can enter their own, the nice thing you can see by month or week, and you can print them out. You can see who has what all together. So this is kind of my chalkboard and how it evolved into an online digital calendar. And the nice thing about this is that it does send reminders. It can send a reminder in a day in advance, an hour in advance, and it's just, it's digital. Instead of you helping remind your kids, again, it's another reminder. A lot of my kids now have, phones, so it was very helpful to let them know in advance, hey, I got this tomorrow, or I got this in an hour. So it really helped prepare them and knew who had what and who was taking what. There's a lot of things you can do on this. I'm going to just show you a good example. This is mine, that you can see here. See if this is showing up correctly. You can see I can enter an event for Emma. You can do repeatable events, reminders, location, give the details. A lot of different features in here. And again, it's free. You can an hour beforehand, another reminder. There's some upgrades that you can do to do another reminder later on. The other nice thing I will say that this is good for is my kids were involved in lots of sports events. And you can set it up so that the grandparents get notices. It was hard to communicate who has what when, or your family members who may be interested in coming to your child's sports event. So that made it very, very helpful. Instead of reminding my parents, week to week, it showed up on their phone in advance. So that again, it's cozy.com. If you want to take a look at it. And we'll probably cover this in more detail. I just kind of covered it really briefly, but this has been very helpful for me in how I evolved my chalkboard. And I still use a chalkboard. And I'll tell you in a later session how I use my chalkboard because it is my command central. But this has been very beneficial. And so that's it. I'll stop sharing that and go back to our. Do you have any questions, or Tara, any thoughts on?
I am just blown away by this calendar. I mean, this is really, I know you've told me about it, but this is the first time that I've really seen it. I mean, not only is this good for you, I'm assuming that, let's say Angie, my sister, my nieces, we could combine a calendar for the girls plus Kieran, even
Yes.
for
Yep.
our parents.
Yep.
That, I mean, that's great, especially, like when they were smaller, the days that I took care of the girls for childcare. But now that they're older with the sports, I mean, this is a really awesome tool,
Yep.
really awesome tool. And let
Okay.
me tell you, had we had this, and we could have shared this with Renee,
Yeah.
and if everybody would have done it right, it would have saved a lot of heartache. Now, is this just a download? Is this what this
No,
is? And it's
no, you can
free?
get it on your, it's free. You can get it on your phone. So
Whoa.
it'll send reminders directly to your phone, your mobile device. You can configure it that way. You can enter events on your phone. It's great. It has birthdays, so they're repeatable. It's, again, if the grandparents are involved, there are things that they're not going to miss on here. There's even to-do lists, meals. So what another tip I had is a lot of times kids, they, mom, I need this, I need that for this project or that school project. So they could enter their kind of needs on here, the to-do list. There's so many ways to use this, as well as you can create your shopping list there too. So I've used this for many different ways, and I actually upgraded. I loved it so much. I tried the free version and then I upgraded. So I loved it, using it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Because at the end of the day, and I've tried to make a reel and a TikTok about this, but I don't want to come off preachy like I know best, because I don't. I am flying by the seat of my pants as a parent, just like everybody else is. I am not an expert by any means, but whatever your feelings are about the other parent or about the step parent, the key is exactly what you said. The kids feel safe and they feel loved.
Yeah.
So to separate those feelings from co-parenting, that is the key. That so to get everybody on board with that would have just saved so much heartache and just confusion.
Yep.
With custody schedules, visitation, what weekend, what days of the week, extracurriculars, who's taking what, who's picking up, where you dropping off. I mean, there were so many times I would get the phone call about what are you doing right now? What are you doing? I need help. Ashley's at school and she can't get home and my parents are not here. Blah, 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 blah. That's okay. I'll take, but I mean, all of that stuff. I mean, so
yeah, it's just in being solution. I was talking to another parenting coach, but if you could get your head around, I know there's a lot of emotions, a lot of dynamics, like you were sharing before, but to be problem solvers,
yes.
Because, unless if you can come up with a solution that will work for everyone is, I think, what's worked best for the kids, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully this was helpful for our audience. And anything else to add, Tara?
I think that I would love to continue the conversation about co-parenting. And if anybody has any questions or anything that you would like us to start the conversation about, please, send us a message, send us a DM, an email, or whatever, because this is a hot topic. There's a lot of parents that either are divorced or they decided not to marry or whatever, and there's co-parenting situations, and everybody has the child's, as long as the child's best interest is at heart. I mean, everybody wants their child to grow up as good as possible, and there's just so many things that we can talk about with the dynamics of the co-parenting and the blended families and different things. So I would love to continue the conversation about that, and I would love to have our community, our friends here, I would love to have their input on things that they have had issues with. What are your successes with co-parenting or blended families? What are your failures? What is something that is a challenge for you right now, and how did you work that out? I would love know all of these things. So please, either comment below or email or DM, whatever. We would love to hear from anybody and everybody.
Yep. And so, again, like just to reiterate, what we try to do is, we want to hear like what Tara says from you about some of the issues and help. We've got lots of ideas. We've got lots of experience just from, our families and kids and the dynamics. And we want to solve problems together as a community. And hopefully this was helpful in maybe solving some of the scheduling challenges that all of you have, like we have had and actually still have. But this is, a solution that has helped and has gone a long way. And I also add, kind of speaking of step parenting and the dynamics. So next week, we have a special guest and expert, a step parenting coach.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. So yeah, she's going to be joining. It's kind of like the do's and don'ts. And, there's a lot of fears of the children involved when it comes to blended families, territorial turf wars. There's all kinds of issues there, but we'll get some great tips from her next week and just have a good discussion on that. So again, great to hear from you and what you want to hear from us, any solutions, any pet peeves that you have, and just appreciate you joining tonight. So
yes, and I did want to mention I have been a little bit of a lollygagger. I told Gina I was going to do this 2 weeks ago, and I have not yet done it. Every Sunday is Self-Care Sunday with Parent Kindly. We encourage you to do things for yourself. So every Sunday, we would like to give a gift to someone that's within our community that is, it might be just a little gift card to Amazon or Starbucks or something. We just want to let you know that we appreciate you, and that we know that you're doing the best you can, and just keep on keeping on. We're all going to get there together. So every week we're going to pick somebody that we just need to that is commenting or something. We just need to see who's out there. So we'll pick a name to somebody that's commented on or shared one of our lives or our reels or our posts. Just give us a hey, how you doing? I'm not going to reveal each week what it is. It's going to be a surprise on Sunday. But even if you can't catch it live, catch it on the replay and just say, hey, Tara and Gina, I'm here. Hey. And then we'll know that, we'll put your name in the hat and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Tara.
You're very welcome.
We're on your team and we're here to help with solutions. And join us next week with Maria Nadapov, our step parenting coach.
Great.
So, thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye. Have a great week.
You too.